We've never been in your shoes, but we're playing the game of life. We'll chase away all your blues with fun and a host of your strife. Never have I ever, never have I ever, starts now.
What was that conversation we were having in the car today?
When you had anxiety, or
When I had anxiety in a Walmart on a goddamn Saturday.
you shut down
It's the weirdest thing.
completely.
I've spent so long working in like a grocery retail environment that like grocery stores do not fucking faze me. I forgot about the Donald Trump supporters that take up a Walmart on a goddamn Saturday. It was a robust group of just stupid people.
Fuck Walmart. I hate Walmart, dude. I just feel so dirty there.
I watched people steal things.
You watch?
In the 10 minutes I was in there. It was like fucking Black Friday, and it was just a Saturday in the ass end of fucking January. Just the worst type of people out there shopping. I went in there, Tom. What was I in there to buy?
You're there to buy a comb.
I left with an 18-pack of beer because I couldn't find the comb, could find the beer, and I could feel my stress level going through the goddamn roof.
I like that your immediate reaction was just like, fuck, shut the beer, I need beer. Like,
I couldn't concentrate.
your go-to is beer. You said in the car, like, I blacked out and got beer. That's usually what happens when you black out.
I mean, usually
That's what happens when I
beer
black out.
I usually get beer and then, no, I usually get hard liquor and then black out. Because it always tends to like be a situation where like I'm having a couple beers and everything's fine. And then someone's like, let's do a shot of Hennessy or something like that. And then you just do a straight up shot of Hennessy, and I don't drink whiskey that often.
I don't think I've ever done a shot of Hennessy before.
Ever. And whiskey to me is such a terrible fucking taste.
Yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way.
What do you mean sorry you feel that way?
I love whiskey and bourbon, all that jazz.
It's just so like licking that stool that you normally sit on.
Nah.
Anyways, you're listening to the Never Have I Ever show.
Where we can't handle real life sometimes.
No,
so we
it
make fun of yours.
Exactly. Look at that. You had your first catchphrase.
Hey!
Took 27 episodes for you to get, or 23 episodes.
I was going to say this is 23.
23. We don't record them 20 at a time. Sorry. No, this is episode 23, where I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
And every week we come to you live from the Octagon.
I almost forgot to say my name there.
That's okay.
I was just going to let it be silence. Anyway.
Now you're using my catchphrase.
Continue.
Where every week we take your questions from Reddit, Yahoo Answers, our email address, which is neverhaveievershow@gmail.com, and we try to give you the best possible life advice available. Tom, are we all set with that computer?
Yeah, we're all good.
All right, you scared me. Tom's computer has not made it through an entire episode in like a month and a half without crashing.
No, it was just like last time was really bad. Anyway.
Tom, are you ready for question number 1?
Let's do it.
I've been working for my dad's company for 2 weeks now doing some deliveries, logistics. Today I told my dad about the driver's adventures and the crazy antics we've experienced. For some reason I told my dad that during transportation I sat in the back of the vehicle while moving between districts. Going above 10 kilometers an hour without seatbelts is a federal offense where I live, and this made my dad, for a lots of a better word, go completely apeshit. Now it seems as such that I wouldn't be allowed to work there anymore. Not a huge loss, but the driver that I was with will be fired. I feel terrible about letting my dad down and for getting this poor guy fired. I won't argue that he didn't do anything wrong, but I feel like shit for getting a popular guy at this job fired, and I've only been there 2 weeks. I feel like everyone at the company is going to turn hostile at my dad and me. What should I do?
Fuck. I don't know.
That's a new one, isn't it?
You fucked up, kid. Like, you shouldn't have told your dad that. Like, you don't tell your parents shit you know will get other people in trouble, especially when you're working for them. Like, I worked for my dad a little bit when I was in high school. I was, like, volunteering at his work to, like, get NHS credit. And all of his employees were college students, so they would talk about the crazy parties or whatever, and they would also then like they would joke around and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw you there," and they'd joke around with my dad like, "Oh yeah, I saw Tommy at this party the other day, blah blah blah, totally drinking." But then like we'd actually talk about other stuff when my dad wasn't around, and I would never tell my dad that shit. This was like, I don't want to get you guys in trouble, or like I don't know. It's just like you don't tell your like if your dad's the boss, you don't tell him shit that other employees did. So you fucked up. I don't think you can ever go back to that job. Like your dad can get away with it. Your dad's the boss. People are gonna dislike him. That's normal. That's that's whatever. It sucks that they're gonna dislike him because of you, but that happens. So yeah, you can't go back though. Like you can't go back to that job. You can't see anyone else that you saw. Like yeah, you're kind of fucked. Move on. Find a new job. That's what you can do. Find a new job. Never go back. That's how I live my life.
I think it's kind of funny that he's just like, yeah, we're doing reckless stuff, and like I get it. The first thing you want to do whenever you have like a really cool job or do something really crazy at a job is naturally to tell everybody.
Yeah.
But like that was the worst fucking place to tell anybody.
It's like telling your parents you went to a kegger and got blackout and then fucked somebody and then puked in a toilet and then ended up in a ditch and then you don't remember anything or something. And then then you're stuck with a random baby that you found the next morning, and then you're trying to find the baby's mom. And then there's also a tiger that you stole from Mike Tyson's house. And then there's a naked Chinese dude that jumps out of your trunk. And then you don't tell your parents that. Don't tell your parents things.
Don't tell them anything. That's our life advice. Your parents are better off with everything that they don't know about.
If you're struggling with depression, don't tell your parents. If you really are going through a hard time because your grandma died, don't talk to your parents about it. Just bottle it. Bottle everything. Too far?
I don't know if that's too far necessarily. You do have to be careful because sometimes parents are like super engaged in what you're doing with your life, and sometimes they really don't care. But if your parents are your boss, that's so stupid.
No, like I love telling my parents stuff, and I share stuff about my life, but I don't I'll tell them that I went to a party and that's it. Like I don't get into details about what happened at the party. I don't tell them how drunk I was. I don't tell them any of that. So
thought I deleted the email with our show on it accidentally as I was going.
Whew, that would have been bad.
So yeah, you're dumb. First off, it's totally cool to like screw around at work. Not like big time.
Yeah.
But like it's cool to release some steam. And you have to be careful who you're talking to. Because I remember working a couple jobs in college where like we'd all go out, or I'd go out to the bar or something like that, and then go to work the next day. And they'd be like, oh, what were you doing last night? I was like, oh, it's 7 a.m. here at work, and I just got back from the bar. Like, literally. I was at the bar until like 3. So, yeah. You have to be careful kind of how you address those situations because it's not quite that great.
If anything, I guess to learn from this, learn to filter yourself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ready for the next question, Tom?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. My girlfriend and I are travelers. Some may say hippies. Yes, that laugh is in the email.
Oh. I thought it was just weird and awkward. It's actually called rubber tramps. You're being rubber tramps. That's when you sort of just travel around the U.S. or wherever in a car. Rubber being that you have a car, tramp just being, you're tramping around. But go on, I'll let it slide. Someone's never read Into the Wild by John Krakauer.
Krakow.
Whatever.
We have been in a relationship for about 3 years. Recently, she took some time alone to do a 1-month yoga class in Thailand. When she finished up, we met again. She told me that she had spent a few nights with another man/boy.
She watched Eat, Pray, Love.
She said they had slept in the same bed, kissed, made out, touched, and she would give him oral sex. For her, she says sex is out of her boundaries in a relationship. Really, I feel like we should be free to do as she pleases. I was not around and she wanted affection, I guess. Although I say I want her to be a free person. I still find myself very hurt. Another big problem I'm facing is that I cannot get the images of them together out of my head. When I hug her or kiss her, I'll get flashes in my mind of them together. when we are having sex, suddenly the same thing will happen and I will become depressed and lose interest in the sex. I love this woman and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I do not want things like this to upset me. Do you have any advice on what to do when you can't get the image of your girl's side fling out of your brain?
Yeah, break up. That's it. Like, it sucks because his core beliefs are contradicting his feelings, and when that happens, you're always conflicted. Like, what do I do? You know, it'd be like a devout religious person who's also gay or something like that, where it's just like your beliefs contradict like kind of your core who you are and whatever. And at the core, he's a jealous boyfriend. Rightly so. His girlfriend cheated on him.
I love how you phrase that. You're just like, at his core, he's a jealous person. It's like, no, his girlfriend like totally straight up.
No, I mean, he's jealous, but for a legitimate reason. Like maybe he's just at his core, he's not as hippie free love as he thought he was. So it's like kind of an identity crisis too. Like he's trying to figure out like, is he this free loving hippie guy, or is he maybe a little bit more reserved than he thought? And it's fine to be a little bit more reserved, because those feelings are legitimate. Like your feelings of jealousy and depression and anger are totally legitimate in this case.
I find it really, really weird that like she goes away for a month and she's just like, oh yeah, whatever, hug, kiss, feel, touch other dudes.
Blowjob.
Yeah, it's like a 3-year relationship. I feel like at that point you should be a little bit more, I guess, respectful of the boundaries, because she's like,
yeah, but they're hippies.
Yeah, penis and vagina, that's against the rules, but I'll totally suck his dick until he comes all over my face.
It was like 1 month and she already needed affection. Like that's how quickly she needed, like she couldn't live a month without the affection from a loved one.
She can go a month without showering.
But she can't go a month without sucking dick.
Yeah, like, I will go out of my way and say I haven't sucked a dick in 24 and a half years.
Same here. No, that's not my car beeping outside.
It's not mine. Mine won't honk. Yeah, it's just weird. Like, what would you do? Have you been in a situation like where you've been in a relationship and then you sense infidelity?
No. Honestly, no.
Because I've had that in every relationship.
Really?
Yes. And I've been right most of the time.
Damn. That sucks. I'm sorry.
So, like, it is weird when, A, you try to play the card of, oh, I'm going to pretend it didn't happen and try to mentally block it out, and then just try to continue on, like, salvaging what you think is right. And then there's also, like, oh, she doesn't know that I've caught on. And then, like, trying to be like, hi, everything's great. And in your head, you're just like, somebody else's dick in your mouth. What the fuck? It's such a weird, like, I totally understand where this guy's coming from, but I don't know what the boundaries were before she went on the trip. Like, did they have it planned out? It's like, yeah, go ahead, go do yoga, cuddle, kiss people, but no dicks in mouth.
Yeah, like,
even I feel like that's a bit over the line.
Was there a specific, did you have a rule book? Like, if you have, like, some couples have this spoken rule book where it's like, if you ever have the chance to sleep with a celebrity, do it and I won't be mad. Or like,
it doesn't work that way. It's a certain celebrity. It's not any celebrity, because then there's like a sliding scale of celebrity.
Like, like, I had the ability to sleep with Ving Rhames.
Yeah. Or the dude from MTV True Life, I Live With My Parents. Like, what is your definition of celebrity?
Who's the most, like, C-list actor I can think of? I don't even know.
Andy Dick?
I don't know who Andy Dick is.
Chris Evans, up until he became a comic book dude?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Because, I mean, what was he? He was in Not Another Teen Movie.
Yes.
It's like Not Another Teen Movie, Chris
Varsity
Evans.
Blues?
Man.
So, like, just because it's like celebrity, no, that's a no-go. Especially for guys like us in Buffalo.
I remember there was
like any Sabre player or any Bills player is like, oh, it's a celebrity. It's like, I don't know who the fuck Booby Dixon is. Why is that a person? Why is his first name Booby?
But the same token, could I do the same thing with a person from the Buffalo Buttes?
Tom, for the
women's
last
national hockey
fucking
team.
time, Megan Duggan's not going to marry you.
God damn it! Stop killing my dreams. Anyway, this reminds me. There was when I was in grad school, I went to Europe, and there was this one very hot girl in my class who had a boyfriend. Had a boyfriend for like 6 years. So it was like
She
obvious.
had a boyfriend who had a boyfriend?
Yeah, it was very.
Sounds like this,
It was a
sounds like it's
complicated
open for you.
relationship. No, she had a boyfriend for like 6 years. The semester that a lot of us went to Europe for this class, she was very sick. Couldn't go, like, to the point where she couldn't even go to school. But then, like, during the summer, she was better, so she was back in classes. But she was talking about how her and her boyfriend had these rules, like, if there's a celebrity, like, she would be allowed, blah blah blah. And she's like, if it's overseas, like in Europe, it's allowed or whatever. I'm like, really? Like, that seems really like sketchy and like weird. And she's like, I mean, that's our agreement. Like, if I had gone to Europe, it could have been you. And I was like, fuck! Why? Why were you sick? Oh, I mean, we could have done this. Oh, I was so pissed.
Huh. What a selfish way to take that, Tom.
I mean, obviously there was like it wasn't like serious, like you can fuck me right here now, but just like the possibility that like it could have happened. You know what I mean? Like a 20, even like the 25% chance. Like, you have never been like pissed off, like found out in hindsight, like you could have slept with someone really beautiful, but like now it's off the table.
I
And
guess.
you've been pissed or haven't been pissed about it.
In most of those situations, like retroactively, I've been able to sleep with that person.
It's like you can't not sleep with them. Like, they tell you, like,
But
we totally could have hooked up 2 years ago, and then like a month later you're hooking up with her. You're like, yeah, fuck off.
That's kind of happened like at least 2 or 3 times.
Good for you.
But that's like college me.
Fuck.
It'd be like, oh yeah, my boyfriend doesn't go to this school, so like he's giving me like a 1 or 2 free passes, and then like they break up, and then it's like, oh well, all right, P and VG.
Oh, so now you have an unlimited free pass. I don't get the idea of a free pass.
Neither do I. You're all in or you're all out.
Yeah. So this guy, break up. Sorry, you don't. You might have loved who this person was, but you don't love her anymore.
Do people really take fucking month-long trips to Thailand to do yoga?
If she watched Eat, Pray, Love, she did.
Is that what Eat, Pray, Love's about? I thought you go there to like find out your mom and dad don't love each other, like in Arrested Development.
No, have you never watched Eat, Pray, Love?
Why would I watch Eat, Pray, Love?
I don't know.
I do one of the 3 things. I don't love and I don't pray. I eat a lot. I don't need a movie to tell me how to eat. I watched Super Size Me, and all it made me do was want a hamburger.
I watched Eat, Pray, Love with this girl that I liked because she like had to watch it. She was going to Italy for a semester, and so she was like watching the movie or something, like relating it to a course that we were doing. She's like, "Do you want to watch this with me?" I'm like, "I will do anything to hang out with you." Yes. And then we watched it, and we were both like, "This is fucking stupid. This is the worst thing." So Julia Roberts, her character decides, like, just randomly, she's been married for X number of years. She just decides randomly, you know what, I'm unhappy in this relationship. I feel like I haven't really lived and I need to get out and express myself. So she bounces. She goes to like India and Italy and I don't know where else, Spain maybe. She ends up like in India, she learns how to meditate and stuff. And that's like the pray. And in Italy, she's just nobbing, gorging down all the pasta that she can fucking get her hands on. Yeah, she's just going to town. So that's like the eat portion. And I guess the love portion takes place wherever. Maybe it was Spain. I feel like Spain sticks out in my mind because I think by the end she falls in love with some Spaniard guy. And they get together. But just it sucks because like they show scenes of like a husband at home and he's just like, I don't know what's going on. Like he's talking to her over the phone or like through letters or something. And it's just like, babe, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. He's just like in the dark. You feel so bad for him. You're just like, wow, Julia Roberts, you're so fucking selfish. Like, good on you for making a change so you can be happy. But in doing so, like, the way you approached it really made this other guy's life hell.
I think it's just, yeah. I mean, why would you put that kind of stress? Like, I understand the whole, like, I need a break kind of thing, but you got to be, like, upfront about it and, like, keep the other person in the goddamn loop. You know
I don't
what mean?
believe in breaks.
Neither do I. But I'm saying, like, if you're going to do that, don't go off and have, like, the best gallivanting time of your life and leave the other guy being like, oh, I don't know yet.
Just
I don't
at
know
home,
yet.
twiddling his thumbs.
While she's
all his
out,
friends are like, so what's Steph up to?
while she's getting railed
what's
out
she
on the
doing?
balcony in
Oh, I
Spain
don't
while
know.
forking pasta into her mouth. She's like, I fucking love this. Oh, God. Ah! She's praying and loving at the same fucking time.
Yes. Killed it.
So you don't need to watch that movie. We have successfully walked you through it.
Yep, you got the synopsis.
We've done the never have I ever notes. You're totally cool with that.
All
Next
right.
week, we're going to do the Passion of the Christ,
Yes.
where we're going to put the passion back in your Christ.
Oh,
All right.
I thought it was just going to be anti-Semitic jokes.
We have Mel Gibson on the show next week.
Oh, man.
All right. Question number 3.
Sure.
I've been seeing my girlfriend for a bit more than 4 months. Tonight I showed up at a party for one of my girlfriend's friends a few hours after it had started. My partner had already had a few drinks. I was driving, so I didn't drink any alcohol. After saying hi to everyone, I left to get drinks. When I returned, she was telling a story about how in Amsterdam she went to see a sex show, was brought up on stage, and jerked off a performer.
Is that something that happens regularly?
I don't know.
Like, is that a thing?
Tom, you were in
It's-
Amsterdam.
I've never been to Amsterdam.
All right, we're going to Amsterdam.
All right.
I'm paraphrasing her story, of course. I really don't want to recount all the details. Her friend said, wow.
Oh, like the details of, so first, it was like a slow jerk. I was kind of like, fine, I'll stop.
Her friend said, wow, that's not how Mr. Me should be hearing a story about that, and similar. At the time, it irked me a bit, but I brushed it off almost immediately and went on to have a good night. A few hours later, we're back at my place, feeling irritated, and I can't sleep. I'm not sure what's bothering me. I don't know if I'm bothered about the lack of respect to drop a story like that in front of me, or that it's embarrassing to hear something like that in front of a large group. Or is it none of those things, and the mental image of her having sex in front of a large crowd is making me jealous and disgusted with her? I have no idea what I think or feel about this.
Jealous or turned on?
I'm a little slow to process emotionally. I just know that I'm bothered and have no idea whether these feelings were warranted or not. Why am I feeling this way?
Well, first of all, she didn't have sex. She just jerked off a guy. There's a difference. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh yeah, like the last question was just blowing a dude in Thailand.
Okay. but
Where is your standards, Thomas?
she was already in a relationship. That was pre-relationship that this expedition happened. Expedition wasn't the word I wanted to use, but whatever, we're going with it. Anyway, it was pre-relationship. I agree with a friend that this was definitely not the best way for this guy to find out.
At what stage, though, do you find out about that shit?
Never.
Just like,
That's what stage. You never find out.
it's just that should never come up as like, oh yeah, do you remember that time in Amsterdam where you like got up on stage and jerked some dude off in front of an entire audience?
I guess, I don't know. Is it better or worse to have...
Worse.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. Like, you do something embarrassing or whatever, some sort of thing that's sexually embarrassing. Is it better to... I think it's better to tell your partner in not a large group setting. But at the same time, I think it's okay. It's better if you just kind of like shrug it off and just sort of laugh about it. Like when you're telling the story, like, yeah, and then this happened. I don't even know why. Like they just sort of dragged me up and then, yeah, and then I was pressured into do this. And it's just one thing, right? So it was just kind of like a really fucking crazy night. Like it was so funny at the time, or like it was so weird at the time, but it's just kind of funny now. I don't know. It was nothing serious, blah, blah, blah.
But on the same token, I get what you're saying.
Like as opposed to being like, babe, I got to tell you something. So this one time when I was in Amsterdam and you make it sound like a much bigger deal than it is. Like I would much rather have her say it very jokingly and nonchalantly than making a huge deal out of it. Because when you make a huge deal out of it, I think that it's a huge deal. But if you say nonchalantly, it might still bother me. But I'll be like, okay, well, it's clearly not a big deal if this is how she expressed it to me.
Well, here's the thing, though. If it's such a part of her, like, I don't even know where to like file this in
Sexual
the emotional
exploits.
folder. I was gonna say tragic upbringing, but yeah,
Exploits. That's what I wanted to say. Anyway,
in like her backstory or exploits, if it's that willy-nilly that all of a sudden in the middle of a party it can become like your stump speech to the crowd, your boyfriend should probably know about that beforehand. But on the same token, are there certain things like that that shouldn't ever be brought up?
Like
all of a sudden you find out she was in like a sex tape with like 8 dudes. Should that be like brought up? Like, hey, honey, one time in order to pay for school, I got $5,000 for taking a bunch of dicks in my butt. Yeah, it's like the 3rd most viewed video on Spank Bank.
I think here's the thing. I think if you're comfortable enough to tell your friends, then you should be comfortable enough to tell your significant other. If you aren't comfortable to tell your friends, I guess it's like a scale. Because like your scenario, I would never tell my friends that. And I would probably never tell my significant other that unless it was brought up or was like pertinent or something. Like if she bluntly asked me, have you ever made a sex tape? I wouldn't lie. I'd be like, yes, I have. This is what I did.
You've
blah,
made
blah,
a sex
blah.
tape?
Not one online.
You've made more than one sex tape?
Not one online.
Where is it then?
It's deleted. It's gone.
Oh, it's not deleted.
Oh, it's gone.
I'm gonna call AT&T and get that shit back.
No.
It's going up on Pornhub.
No. You can't even see my face.
What?
What?
Why is the video? Oh, okay. Interesting. But yeah, that's such a fucked situation. Like,
oh, so yeah, like, but there are certain sexual exploits. Like, I would tell my friends, like, jokingly. So I would tell my significant other, like, hey, this happened when I was doing this or whatever.
just in case they ask, one time I totally blew a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, it's just, I guess it's how it's presented and who you present it to. I think that in this case, she should, if she was comfortable enough to tell her friends this funny story, she should have told her boyfriend first. But again, in a nonchalant way. Like it's no big deal.
Right.
But yeah. So I guess I can understand why he's bothered by it. But at the same time, everyone has some sort of sexual experience that they either regret or just they sort of, well, maybe not regret. I can see you shaking your head.
Nah, all trophies across the board, kid.
Oh, damn.
You want to come join the trophy case?
We got a fuckboy over here.
How's that a fuckboy? I'm confident and proud.
I don't know. That's fine. It's good to be confident and proud. But I feel like a lot of people have skeletons or stuff. Maybe they don't regret, but maybe they're not exactly proud of, or they're like, this is a little embarrassing that I did this, but this happened. It's just everyone has those experiences. So I think it's okay to tell your significant other that beforehand. I forget where I was going with that. I just sort of trailed off.
So, I mean, it's kind of like the last question. It's perfectly rational for him to lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
But I feel like in this situation, it's like, it's not as bad as it could be.
It's not nearly as bad.
Because it's not like she got caught jerking some dude off in the middle of the Amsterdam streets by the police. Like, she was part of a show. That performer didn't enjoy it any more than any other woman who's jerked him off this week.
I mean, maybe, and that's the other thing. Like, it's a performer. It's like when you go to a strip club, you don't actually have feelings for the stripper. You're just there to be titillated.
The only strip club I've ever been to was scary.
I've been to a couple.
Have I told this story on the podcast?
I don't remember.
When I went to a strip club in Los Angeles, and it was like a Tuesday or Thursday morning at like 3 a.m. Boy, let me tell you, the greatest strippers are out at that time of day.
Hey, it's better than the strippers at a podunk town.
True.
That I went to college at.
I just remember that they weren't IDing us after we all kind of
So many
weaseled our way
seconds.
in. So we were just like getting cups and cups of beer. It was like the closest I've ever felt to winning a championship on something. So it was like after like my second beer, all the beers were inclusive. So I'm just like getting my beer filled up and throwing ones down on the table. And it's like, oh yeah, you have to be at a meeting tomorrow morning in Los Angeles.
I was going to say, this
Skittles.
was in LA, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, because like strip clubs in New York suck.
Oh, in Los Angeles, it's fucking full wild.
Yeah, unless it's like full nudity, it kind of sucks.
I don't remember if it was bottomless. Pretty sure it was.
I've been to 2 in New York. One was just normal. The other one was fully nude. The thing is, fully nude, you can't have drinks. They can't serve alcohol. So we got kind of wasty before we went. And this was the Podunk Town one. And the other one was topless, but I didn't realize this about topless bars in New York, or at least New York State.
No tatas.
Exactly. There's nipple covers. I'm just like, no.
They're called pasties.
Paste, whatever. It could be duct tape for all I care. It's just like,
We're not in Fulton, buddy.
and you're teasing me. Anyway, oh yeah, this isn't as bad. Also because this happened pre-relationship. Like she was a completely different person beforehand. Who you are beforehand like doesn't count as to like affecting your relationship now, I wouldn't think.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
I think that's what I wanted to say when I sort of trailed off earlier.
Was that she shouldn't be held responsible for something that kind of innocent?
Yeah, that she shouldn't be held responsible because it happened like before your relationship. Like, yeah, I can understand you being uncomfortable with it, but you just kind of have to. It might take a while. It's going to take a while, but eventually you're going to accept it. I think.
All
I
right,
hope.
Tom. Ready for the last question?
Let's do it.
So my friend and I have nearly 8 months are part of the same friend group at school. That means all of her best friends are my best friends, whether they're a boy or a girl. We've all made great friends, or we are all great friends.
I get it. You have more than one friend. I just have Tim. Christ.
With this girl, though, I've sensed a different type of friendly energy.
Ooh.
Perhaps slightly attracted to me interest.
All right.
This is just based on some comments she made directly to me. Things about her how beautiful my eyes and smile are, or how she could stare into them forever.
Okay, that last one for sure.
Anyways, I digress. I recently got her Snapchat. I'm new to
It's taking you
Snapchat.
8 months to get her Snapchat?
I got it from another friend of ours. I was scared to add her out of the blue, but when I did, she
I thought
added
you
me
said you
back.
guys were friends.
But when
Sorry.
I did, she added me back in minutes.
Oh, okay.
Now we have Snapchats. I want to snap her a lot, but I hear spamming your crush with countless random photos and selfies isn't the best way to court her. So my question is, what is the etiquette for snapping a girl, especially your crush? What can I do to interest her from my snaps? And should I be worried if I'm always the initiator of snap conversations? Early this week, I snapped her and she replied twice. I got nervous and didn't reply because I didn't fudging know where to take the conversation. How do you have a long Snapchat conversation with someone, specifically a girl?
You don't, first of all. If you're going to have a fucking conversation, use text. I fucking hate having conversations over Snapchat.
Phil, this is an intervention.
I love Snapchat, but I hate having conversations because you can only fit so much text. I can only take so many pictures of the lamp. Or I hate when you like try to text me through like Snapchat chat function, chat.
The chat snap function?
Sorry, I had a little bit of a stroke there. Yeah, because it's like, you have my phone number. Just shoot me a text if you're going to shoot me a long stream of text. Now I have to get on Wi-Fi. Now I'm at work and I have to get on my data plan just to respond to something that I could respond to over text. Anyway, rant over. How often should he snap and text and blah, blah, blah? It's going to be much like when you text your crush. You don't want to text too much, so he's right. He's on a good path. Like, you don't want to over spam her with a bunch of stuff. I was going to say that the nice thing about Snapchat is that you don't have to necessarily snap her
Pictures of yourself.
well, or meaningful content. Like texting, you always have to text like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? We're going to have a conversation."
What are you talking about? I snap all the time vague statements. Or text vague statements.
You do. But like,
I just want some human contact.
like you're texting your crush, you're expecting to have a conversation. With Snapchat, you can just do little micro things like, hey, here's my roommate with the whale and wind emoji in front of his face, so it looks like a whale is farting in front of his face.
Did you snap that to a lot of people last night?
No, I just snapped it to a few people.
Okay. I passed out on the couch last night, everybody.
And I Snapchatted that exact scenario to a few people. But anyway, you Snapchat like little things like that. There was no context, no real content. It's just sort of a funny thing. But your crush opens it and she just kind of thinks of you. She like gives a little chuckle like, ha, that's funny. Now I'm thinking of Tom, and that's it. Like, you don't have to have a whole conversation, but you can at least get her to think about you.
And you don't always have to reply to everything that they send.
Exactly.
But if they do send something, that's a perfectly valid excuse to snap them back. If you're worried about, oh, I'm snapping her too much, guess what? If it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you haven't snapped her all day, and she sends you a picture of like, I don't know, a Red Robin bag or a Sonic milkshake or something, she's like, having a fun day. Just be like, hey, here's me playing video games. And guess what? That's not weird because she initiated the snap conversation.
Exactly. Or you could be like, oh, wow, that looks awesome or something like that.
But on the same token, don't feel ashamed if you send a text and then you don't get a response back.
Right.
Or a Snapchat, and you don't get.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I open Snapchats all the time with no anticipation of responding.
Yeah. It's just like I open it, it's funny or it's something, and then I close it. That's it.
Because a lot of times I'm not doing anything I want to snap anyone back.
Yeah, or it's like, I don't know how to respond to this.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm just sitting on the couch in fleece pants watching Making a Murderer. It's like, yeah I get it. That's kind of cute to some people, but like to other people, it's like, does he not do anything on Fridays?
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with him? Doesn't he have bills to pay?
What was I going to say?
I have plenty of people with Snap conversations that like, that's pretty much all I communicate with. Like I have a Tumblr protege.
A Tumblr protege?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was like a depressed kid, and like all I did was listen. So now, like when she's stressed, she talks to me.
Oh, that's nice.
But she's like 17.
Oh.
But there's nothing inappropriate.
Right.
It's just like I happen to be on the website.
Gotcha.
And I happen to listen. So whenever she's in
You're
a bad
just being
mood,
a nice guy.
I'm just like, oh yeah, high school's tough. Please don't kill yourself. Literal conversations.
I hope that. Okay.
We have like a 50-day Snap story thing, or a 50-day Snap conversation thing, back and forth. And you know what? If it keeps someone from doing something dumb, I'm all for it.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
That's all I talk to that person with. And it'll be like, oh, college applications. And I'll be like, oh, watching Making a Murderer. Or my roommate's playing bass. Or my roommate's wearing a poncho for no fucking reason.
Yeah. I mean, get creative. Like, maybe you take a selfie of yourself, but then you...
always wear a shirt.
Always wear a shirt. But then you...
I don't dirty snap.
But then you use the paint to to draw something funny. Like, maybe you make yourself look like Bane. Maybe you make yourself look like Rick from Rick and Morty. You know, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Do something creative.
Yeah, or something that she would like to, like, oh, that's really funny. Or maybe, yeah, you make yourself look like Zoidberg. Or you snap like your roommate or your friend or somebody. Maybe it's just a benign or just like a normal picture, but then you add something to make it funny. Like there's just a stick figure of a blue guy with his hand over your roommate's shoulder and like.
Are you thinking of those snaps from like 3 years ago?
Yeah, like a hand over the shoulder. And just like chilling, what's up? Or like maybe the stick figure dude is like peering out from behind the couch, like kind of funny and creepily. It's just, you get creative with it. Use emojis.
Have fun
Enlarge
with it.
the emojis.
Have fun with it, but don't get too out of hand. Like, don't get too stressed about having to entertain. It's Snapchat. It's not, Picasso
oh yeah, don't be
art.
like, oh my god, I have to be funny. Oh my god, the snap isn't that funny. I could have done better. She didn't reply. It must have been not that funny. Like, chill out. You're fine.
Like, yeah, there's millions of snaps to send, so I think you're gonna be fine. Just take it slow, be cautious. You're young.
Do you think that she does like him though?
Oh, 100%. But then again, maybe she's just really nice.
Well, that's the thing. At first, when he said like she's complimented me on my eyes, like, I mean, I have friends who are girls who will comment me on physical features, but I don't think there's anything. It'll be like somebody
Tom,
who already
your
has a
dick,
boyfriend.
It's so big.
I'm like, I know, thanks.
How do you think
Oh, you're so funny.
Sir, do you have a license to conceal that weapon?
Oh, stop.
I feel like we said that last week
show
on
it
the
off.
show.
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, it's like,
so I thought that at first, but then when he said,
like I can look into them forever.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
But then again,
okay.
like at that age, we still had friends that were like flirty, but totally platonically flirty,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily great in any, stretch of the imagination. But, I mean, just don't take anything too seriously, but don't be afraid to jump on with hints if you see one.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm guessing you're in high school because it sounds identical to like a high school situation.
I was thinking early college.
Oh, it sounds like high school. It took him 8 months to fucking get a Snapchat name.
That's true. That's why I was like, how are you friends and you don't have the Snapchat thing?
These kids without their AIM instant
Also,
message,
like
man.
if you're friends, like you should have her phone number. You can add her by phone number on Snapchat. You
Yo,
don't
this
need the
kid
username.
already isn't Don Quixote. He's not gonna ride off with your wife.
Just saying, like, what?
All right, you ready for the lightning round, kid?
Yeah, bring it on.
For those of you who are new to the show, every week Tom abandons the news cycle. Tom is part of the
Just
reason.
like my unborn children.
Tom is part of the
I
reason why
abandoned them.
tabloid journalism is way more important than regular journalism, because he doesn't read regular journalism. Not in a bad way. Tom just chooses to do better things with his life, which is how I phrase it, because actually you're probably in better shape not knowing what's really going on.
Less depressed at the world, less angry at the world.
Anyways, I am very in tune with the news, so every week I comb the headlines.
Yeah, that's why you're a nihilist.
I'm entirely a nihilist, just like Nihilist Arby's.
Twitter handle.
Jesus, that scared the shit out of me.
Just like I did this morning.
Yeah, just like Brendan Kelly.
Snuck up
Anyways,
on you.
so I've pulled 5 news headlines from the week, and Tom, one of these I have made up today while pooping.
You always poop.
Is when I get my
write these.
only the one. Like the other 4, I definitely were sitting at my computer when you tried to scare the shit out of me this morning. While I was trying very earnestly to ignore the 4th housemate, who none of us met, not named Richard the cat.
Nope.
Anyways, Tom, I have 5 headlines. One of them I've made up. It's your job to figure it out. Now, in 23 episodes, Tom has figured it out, I think, 4 or 5 times.
I thought it was only like 2, but I'll take 4 or 5.
I'll give you that kind of credit.
Cool.
You're still only hitting at like 80%.
Whatever.
Anyways, Tom, here are your headlines. I'll read them through one time, and then I'll read them through a second time to help you gauge what's truly going on here.
All right, let me read your mustache face.
That's right, I've shaved into a mustache today. Number 1. Florida man presents mixtape to cop during traffic stop.
Nice.
Number 2.
Cop pulled them over for being too dope.
Number 2. Man arrested for public nudity while awaiting aliens to take him home.
That sounds real.
Men get high on own stash, call cops on themselves.
Oh my god. What? Who does worst stoners ever? I've never done that. I've never even thought to do that.
Daycare worker convicted of running baby fight club.
Fight Club. Actually, I think I saw that.
Man crashes car into building in an attempt to time travel.
Marty, we gotta go back in time.
Here, Marty, suck my balls.
Suck my balls, Marty. It's the only way to fix the time car. Gee, Doc, I don't know how this is gonna fix the time. No time, Marty. There's no time. Suck.
So
All right,
I'm going to
done.
read through them one more time, Tom, and I think I made it pretty tough this week. But I'm going to read through all 5 headlines, Tom. Try to pick the one that I have just made up. Number 1, Florida man presents mixtape to cop during traffic stop. Number 2, stop laughing. Stop staring at me. Number 2, man arrested for public nudity while awaiting aliens to take him home. Number 3, men get high on own stash, call cops on themselves. You're creeping me out, man. Number 4, Daycare worker convicted of running baby fight club. Or number 5, man crashes car into building in an attempt to time travel. Tom, go ahead and try to pick the one that I've made up.
I'm going to say the weed thing.
What weed thing? There was no one about weed.
Okay, the one about stash, the get high and calling cops about
Tom, you
stash.
said that men get high on their own stash, call cops on themselves was made up?
Yep.
Well, Tom, this week a man did crash a car into a building in an attempt to time travel.
Yes.
Florida man did present a cop with his mixtape during traffic stop. Daycare worker convicted of running baby fight club was a real event.
Okay.
And men getting high on their own stash that called the cops on themselves also happened. That means a man was not arrested for public nudity while awaiting aliens to take him home. Given that it's 2016, I will no doubt confess that many of people were probably arrested for public nudity, and maybe even some for awaiting aliens to take them home, but none of them graced the headlines this week, quite like Donald Trump. So, Tom, you are defeated yet again.
Yep. Oh, well. It happens.
So,
learning to roll with the punches.
Tom, you feel a little bit weirder about the world this week? Based on our questions plus the headlines, you know.
I know that the last one about time travel probably caused a lot of property damage. People were probably injured and hurt. But I find it so funny, and I love it so much that someone tried. Like, oh my God, it's just so rich. It's so good.
I had started typing it before I read the whole whole title of the headline. I'm just like, God damn it. As soon as I read the whole thing, I'm like, Tom's going to think I made this shit up. So I was going to use that. That was the trick. That or Baby Fight Club were the ones I wanted you to be like, what?
Honestly, the alien one was like second in my mind, but...
Because when we were at brunch today with our good friend Valona, we were... I let her read through the headlines ahead of the podcast, and she was like enamored with the Baby Fight Club one.
Yeah. It kind of triggered after I thought, I was like, wait, I think I heard that.
Yeah. So anyways, that'll do it for us this week in the Octagon. You can check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/NHIE show, on Tumblr at neverhaveievershow.tumblr.com, on Facebook at neverhaveievershow, I think, or on YouTube at something else to that effect, which is probably where you're listening to us this week, and we thank you. Please, if you have any questions, thoughts, submissions, things you would like us to answer on the podcast and get you a little bit of advice, check us out at neverhaveievershow@gmail.com.
You're getting good at that, kid.
Aw, thanks, kid.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Man. You're so polite and so nice.
Oh, no.
Anyways, until next week,
Stop.
I'm Lil Tim,
This is Tom.
and you're listening to the Never Have I Ever show.
Children, keep those fingers in the air.
Okay.